Good evening, I'm Cherise Halsall, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. Minister of Health Pablo Marin killed a burglar. We'll have the whole story from Corozal. And the PM announces an opening date for the airport. You'll hear what's the plan. And no more waiting 5 days and more for your COVID test to be ready. We'll tell you how a new rapid test should change all that. Plus, politics heating up. These are the last days to transfer voters. We'll tell you about the feverish race to stack up those voter lists. These stories and more are ahead on 7 News Tonight, so please stay tuned.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
Meals are better at home with Coca-Cola. Collect 2 golden caps of Coca-Cola, Fanta, or Sprite 1.5 liter with the word WIN and 1 golden cap with the word microwave or 1 with the word Oster, and you can win a microwave oven or Oster pots and pans. You'll also receive a free kitchen utensil with all 1.5 liter twin pack purchases. You can collect all 4 utensils. Visit www.coca-cola.com.
The main focus of our plan Belize for healthcare is the full rollout of NHI. The NHI program was started by the last PUP administration. Since then, this UDP administration has done everything to diminish this program, which was built especially to help struggling Belizeans. Today, NHI is a shadow of what it once was. Yet the high cost of healthcare is one of the biggest concerns of poor and middle-class Belizeans. Let me reiterate that the next PUP government commits to provide universal primary healthcare, affordable and free at the point of delivery.
Time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
I remember the days when trucks used to line up at the Guatemala border, and we could have only watch as they come in loaded with LPG and then left with Belizean dollars. Things changed since, because the Belizeans they drive now, that we have the jobs, and are definitely proud to be able to keep my dollars home. Either Elvis Roaches, in either one of the Belizean drivers for the National Gas Company. I haul butane from the new state-of-the-art terminal at the port of Big Creek. The hard work, but at the end of the day, I go home to my family and provide for them. Thanks to NGC, I do my lead part to build my country. We the all Belizeans on this team, and we're proud to work hard to deliver one product will last longer and give you more value for money. I proud to work at NGC, and for you we Belizean people.
The National Gas Company Belize Limited, fueling Belize forward.
I'm Chef Sean Quillen, and I got a nice surprise for you today.
Take your cooking skills to a whole new level with Glazed Out, TNC's first ever cooking show with culinary expert Chef Sean Quillen. Tune in every week for exciting Belizean cuisine and some of Belize's biggest names in culinary art and culture, and watch as they create unique and delicious meals that will surely excite your taste buds. Glazed Out, in the kitchen with Chef Sean.
Belizean food, how another level. Premiering only on TNC 10.
This afternoon, Prime Minister Dean Barrow held a virtual press conference on the latest with COVID-19. Normally, he would have been flanked by Pablo Marin, the Minister of Health, but today, Marin was otherwise engaged. He was at the Corozal police station being interviewed by police investigators about the alleged burglar he killed last night. A burglar broke into his home in Corozal last night, and Marin says that he was forced to defend his life by shooting the assailant with his licensed weapon. Those injuries were fatal, and now the alleged assailant's family is demanding that the authorities prosecute Minister Marin for unjustifiable use of deadly force and harm. 7 News was in Corozal town looking for answers today, and Daniel Ortiz has that story.
The body of 37-year-old Arkel Matura was found here in this bushy open lot next door to the Corozal home of Health Minister Pablo Marin. Marin reported to police that at around 10:30 last night, he was inside the upper flat of his house when he heard a loud noise downstairs. He went to investigate if there was an intruder on his property, and that's when he reportedly saw a man, later identified as Matura, on his veranda. They came face to face in the darkness of night.
Mr. Marin reported that he was at home on the upper flat of his residence when he was alerted to a sound coming from downstairs. He then went to the second floor, and the noise became louder, and that took him to the first floor. When he got on the first floor, he observed that the burglar bar was removed from one of the windows, and some louvers were missing. He went outside around the building, and when he came back inside on the veranda, he was accosted by a lone individual who was brandishing a knife. Mr. Marin said that he ordered the person to put down the knife, and the person charged at him. He fired one shot to warn the person, and when he did that, the person turned around and stooped down as if he was going to pick up or do something, and he subsequently fired 2 more shots. And after having done so, the person got up and jumped over the fence, which is about 8 feet in height, and may have landed on some concrete things that is on the other side of the fence. Police were called, and the body of the individual was found right across the fence of Mr. Marin's yard. Police also found a knife beside the fence inside Mr. Marin's yard. And so based on that, Mr. Marin was taken into custody. He was interviewed and subsequently released pending further directive from the Director of Public Prosecution.
The cops say that they found a backpack on Matura, which was loaded with an assortment of items belonging to Marin. We also saw signs of a break-in on the minister's property. There was this part of a fence that was attached to his. It was bent as if an adult stood on it to climb up high. Then, There is a gap in the barbed wire on top of Marin's concrete fence, which appears as though someone created just enough space to safely cross over. Finally, we saw a broken window on the lower flat of the minister's house. If the police and the Director of Public Prosecutions accept Marin's explanation, then Matura's fatal shooting may be ruled as justifiable use of lethal force to protect life and property. But the sister of the deceased is demanding that the authorities criminally prosecute the minister.
I want justice to my brother because I want injustice. He don't want me a good person. I say like the good people and pay for the bad. I just beg the good Lord make me have justice when I there because my brother is a good person. All I know that he in there like that take away me there on drugs.
As far as you know, did that make him a violent person?
No, he never violent. Even though he made up on a drug addiction, he never like say meet people on the road like you say grab something out of the hand or hold knife down in throat. He not a person. I don't know him as a person.
Julie Matura acknowledges that her brother Arkel spent time in jail in Mexico, that he has struggled with drug addiction, and that he has engaged in petty theft in the past. She disbelieves, however, that Arkel broke into the minister's house or that he acted in a violent or threatening manner towards the minister.
My brother, he just left on the street straight away because he never got a resting place or a house. He left from an addiction after my man and my father are gone. He stayed on drugs. And I made try to get help and things, but the people that want me to go to never pay me mine and things. Nobody wants to study me and all me want to go all out in this family. My brother, yes, I say the drugs here I got take at least something out of people here and things, but he not broke in your house and say go in your house. He not do that. I know he has that. None of my robbery.
We've been on the scene and there is clear evidence that someone broke into the minister's house. The minister, as far as we understand, we haven't spoken to him personally, but the best reports we've received is he's telling police that your brother broke into his house.
The minister will win.
I would hope that people do not look at this as Mr. Marin, a politician, but as Mr. Marin, a citizen of this country. He is entitled to the same rights as any other person in this present circumstances. And so, from a police standpoint, that is how we're looking at it. He had given his side of the story, and it is corroborated by what the police found on the scene. And so we're putting it before the DPP, and then the DPP is going to decide on the matter. If it is that Mr. Marin's action is deemed to be unjustified by law, that will be determined by the DPP, then it goes to the court, and then we'll see how we go from there.
Reporting for 7 News, Daniel Ortiz.
Knowing that the press was going to ask about it anyway, Prime Minister Dean Barrow opened his virtual press conference by briefly discussing what he knows of the fatal shooting. The PM says that Marin has his support.
Now, of course, the police are conducting an investigation, after which, as I understand it, their report will be submitted to the Director of Public Prosecutions for her determination. All I will do this afternoon is to express my utter and complete solidarity with my colleague, Mr. Honorable Pablo Marin.
The PM said he would not accept any questions on the case, which is now a matter for the authorities. This evening, we spoke via telephone with Payal Ganwani, who is now representing Marin. She told us that both she and attorney Rene Montero were retained by Marin, and they are completely cooperating with the police's investigation into the shooting. Ganwani added that Marin wants the public to know that he is safe and that, quote, he is remorseful that he had to do what he did, but he was in fear of his life, end quote. And turning now to the main COVID-related subjects coming out of the Prime Minister's press conference, the biggest announcement today was the opening date for the Philip Golson International Airport. First, it was scheduled for August 15th, but a spike in COVID cases cancelled that. And then it was tentatively set for September 3rd. But again, COVID made that impossible. So now the date is October 1st, and that, the PM swears, is firm.
I'm pleased to say that we have a firm date now of October 1st, 2020. This date is what we have fixed upon for two reasons. We are positive that all the protocols, the physical refurbishment or the physical alteration of spaces at the PGIA, the training of taxi drivers, the training of others, the continuing or continuous reaching out to the immigration personnel and the customs personnel and the public health inspectors, that sort of thing puts us in a position where we can say with complete confidence that by October 1st, we will have the kind of flow that is to take place through the PGIA down pat. So, apart from knowing that by October 1st we will absolutely be ready, the second rationale for that date is the fact that it would have made no sense, even if we could have managed it, to do an earlier reopening because nobody was coming. We have now, though, confirmation from American Airlines that they will start to fly again to Belize on October 1st, 2020. They will come initially 5 days a week, every day except, I believe, Tuesday and Wednesday. Is it Tuesday and Wednesday, Audrey, or Tuesday and Thursday? Anyway, 5 days a week. And then United is also indicating that they will start coming back to Belize on a regular basis. They bring the repatriation flights every Friday, as you know. But they will start coming back on October 1st, and they are proposing to come every day. Am I correct, Audrey? Is that the last? That's the last email we got from them. So October 1st it is.
And a part of that clear-headedness about October 1st is what seems to be an excessive amount of confidence the Prime Minister is putting in a new type of testing module called the Antigen Rapid Test from Abbott Labs. It promises cheap and fast testing, and the US company has been approved by the FDA for productions of tens of millions of tests. For the PM, the advent of this creates all kinds of opportunities, both for Belizeans and tourists, and it was the centerpiece of his presentation today. Today, he explained how the use of the rapid test in Belize will make for faster turnaround times for those whose samples are taken using the biosensor antigen rapid test.
What this means is that I am able to announce today that starting perhaps, I think, as soon as the samples come back from the sweep that's being done in the north this weekend by the health workers, perhaps as soon as that, when we see that there are positives, we will begin to use one of the biosensor antigen rapid tests as part of our testing regime. The particular biosensor antigen rapid test that we will use produces results in 15 to 30 minutes. It needs no operating equipment. There are some of them that come with a little machine that does the processing. This one that we are using is altogether self-contained. Using the antigen rapid test in the way I have described will provide substantial relief both to those doing the testing and to those being tested. It is, I think, an absolute step forward. It is a clear positive for us to be able now to say we will use the antigen rapid test, which, once there is any sense of a return to the overcrowding, will provide us with the relief we need. We can therefore, this afternoon, reassure the public that the days of waiting unduly long to be tested, the days of waiting an unduly long time to get the results once you're tested, those days are pretty much behind us.
And while that is the biosensor test, the PM believes that the advent of the Abbott test should make it easier for testing when overnight tourists start arriving in October, and even when cruise visitors start arriving.
So American tourists and Belizeans coming back from the States should have no trouble bringing an Abbott test with them. This thing is so portable. I don't want for them to test in the States and bring us the results of their 15-minute Abbott test, you know. I want them to bring the test and have the test administered right there at the airport so we can see. There won't be any logistical problems because this is 15 minutes and you're good to go. But what it means, whether they use the Abbott test in the States before they get here or whether they use it, as I would prefer, once they reach Belize and disembark, this should cut at least by half any worry we previously had about being able to find sufficient tests to be administered by us at the PGIA. That Abbott breakthrough should also mean a 2020 restart to cruise ship calls, since it will be so easy for the cruise lines to test passengers before they board. You know that the majority of the cruise lines, certainly all of them that come to Belize, have said that they will not start cruising again until 2021. But that was before this Abbott test breakthrough. Their Americans are basically, or they're headquartered in America, so they will have access to the Abbott rapid test. And that should mean they're able to test every passenger in terms of the numbers that Abbott is saying, the way in which they will mass produce this test. It should be no problem for the cruise lines to be able to test everybody before they board a cruise ship. And so it strikes me, I haven't seen this said anywhere, but it strikes me that this will have to mean a reversion to a 2020 restart for the cruise industry. It would then mean, if I am right, that the Abbott test breakthrough should also have an influence, should also incentivize an earlier start for the return to cruise. That basically we are beginning to see a comprehensive, at least the possibility of a comprehensive reset for the entirety of our tourism product.
We note that there has not been an announcement by the cruise industry as regards this type of testing. And while those visions of an overnight and cruise tourist comeback are perhaps slightly fanciful, there's legit good news for Belizean repatriates coming back from the United States. Presently, when they return, they have to go on a costly 14-day quarantine in a hotel. That measure was introduced when Belizeans had a few dozen COVID cases, but now we have 870, going on 1,000. So is it really fair to ask them to pay for quarantine when most of them will test negative for COVID, which is widespread right in this community? Today, the PM conceded that it is not, and that the policy will change.
The protocol for the returning Belizeans either is going to change or may well change. In fact, I think he went as far as to be definitive. Currently, and we've heard their cries. Currently, certainly since last week, the Belizeans who came back had to be quarantined, basically for 14 days. Dr. Manza had announced, I think last week, that what he would do to try and shorten that period is to test them at day 7. Once you came back negative, you'd be free to go. He's now said, we discussed it this morning, we hear the cries of the Belizeans who say, you put me in quarantine, I have to bear the expenses. There's not really a need for me to spend 14 days in quarantine. So Dr. Manza is going to test them immediately. And if they are negative, they will be allowed to go. Won't even have to wear that monitoring bracelet that you seemed to be so concerned about last week. In fact, the way things are looking, we haven't made a final decision, but we're likely to scrap the need for that. It's not going to appear to be fair if you say to those Belizeans, no. When you self-isolate, you're going to have to wear a bracelet, even though all those at-home Belizeans that have proven positive and are not being put in quarantine, that have been told self-isolate at home, won't have to wear a bracelet. You're going to run into difficulties, you're going to face the charge that you're discriminating. So away with the bracelets. We also believe that given that there are 12 deaths now, the patterns of behavior, we believe on the part of Belizeans at home and those repats will change.
And we take a break now. When we come back, we'll have a whole lot more from today's press conference, including the part where the PM spilled the beans on which big money investor came on that mystery July private flight. Plus, I'll show you the tension and intensity of what could be the last days of the last registration and transfer period before general elections.
Price Premier Products Limited has been proudly serving Belize for many years. We aim to serve you better and are pleased to announce our new office with convenient parking at number 1728 Chetamal Street, Belize City. Here, you will find our Price Smart outlet opening on weekdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Be impressed with the variety of quality branded products such as Pampers, Always, Tide and Downy, Del Monte, DAC, Vigo and Alessi, Duracell, Crystal Farm Cheese, Linda Powdered Milk, Great Lakes Pork Tails, Ground Coffee. We distribute many of the world's top and finest brands to supermarkets and stores nationwide. For authentic brands and quality products, visit us today. Price Premier Products Limited, importer and distributor of fine quality products.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
Bellykin got your back.
What you mean?
Brother, when you buy a 6-pack of Bellykin beer, Bellykin Stout or Bellykin Light, you could enter for winning a Bellykin's weekly drawings.
What are the prizes?
Over 10,000 in a weekly prizes, including Bellykin beer, Bellykin bar tabs, and cash. With your purchase on a 6-pack, scan the QR code or visit bellykin.com/win to enter your unique 6-pack ID. But make sure you keep your 6-pack cartons for proof of purchase.
Why? Belikin really got to back with the purchase at every 6-pack.
Belikin, the beer of Belize.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
The PUP in its first year will complete its NHI scheme that guarantees universal health coverage to all.
An amazing feature about the PUP health plan is for mobile clinics, where healthcare will come to the homes of our most vulnerable. I will advocate strongly for mental health programs and services across Belize.
The rollout of NHI for everyone is indeed a big deal. Our party's plan to manage the coronavirus and the effects of this pandemic is a big deal. A health facility for the residents of San Pedro, a part of my constituency, is a big deal.
Let us stamp out the corruption, the nepotism, and the cronyism in the system, afford our Belizeans good health services with good personnel and facilities, and make sure that medicines are affordable and we can have access to the primary health care and also secondary health care that is so needed in our country.
'73-year-old Roy Martinez died early this morning while undergoing treatment at the Western Regional Hospital. The bulldozer operator, who works for a gold mining company in the Chiquibull, had been attacked yesterday by a swarm of killer bees. And by 1:30 this morning, when he finally arrived at the hospital, he had entered a semi-conscious state. We note that the mining operation is deep in the forest and many hours away from any medical care. And while Martinez's employer may have wished to fly him out for the treatment, he was found at an hour in which it was already too late and too dangerous for a helicopter to fly. It is not uncommon for bulldozers to accidentally run over bees' nests. Tonight, there is only one day left in what may be the last transfer period before the next general elections. We say maybe because no one knows for sure when the general election is. So, while the period could be extended depending on the date set for the election, as of right now, it's pencils down for the political operatives on the ground, whose mission for the last 2 months has been the rounding up and registering of every willing voter they could find. I headed out to the city's elections and boundaries offices today for a glimpse at the mid-pandemic last-minute rush. It's the last days of the 2020 transfer period, the weeks in which it can be said that elections are won or lost by the efforts of the tireless campaigners and passionate candidates. We got a sense of the urgency that comes as this window of opportunity closes from two Belize City politicians.
I can't speak to what they do or what they don't do. I have always used the mantra that I used to be a track athlete, so my focus is always on sticking to our game plan. And our game plan is to ensure that every single person who is qualified to register or transfer in our division that supports us is transferred or registered. My team has been working tirelessly for the past couple of years. And so this is just another part of the cycle in the election cycle. And but indeed, it is our hope and our goal to try to get every single person who is interested in transferring into the constituency, and who is trying to get registered to get registered.
Well, of course, because it's the final days, it's pretty hectic, post to early July, right? We're winding down, of course, but you still have people out here who couldn't make it in the early part of August and July, so they're out now trying to get it in last minute. So we have this, this crowd out here, and everybody just trying to get on this list, right? And we're ensuring that, for me, my people personally, those who were not in the area for whatever reason, they're back on the list and ready to participate in this year's election.
But who handles that part of things? Is it your campaigners, people you have on the ground?
Well, all of us are on the ground right now. Myself, I'm meeting people, getting people, some people who didn't want to come out earlier, you still have to come out and convince them to come out, especially young people. You find that young people, they're not interested as much as some of the older folks in the whole political scene, and for whatever reason. So sometimes I have to find myself going back to certain homes, persuading them to, at least come out, come register, and when I reach that voting part yet, at least just come on, get on the list early, and participate in this part of the registration process. I don't really pay attention to the whatever they happen. I just keep focused, try not to be distracted. My thing is, there's a lot of different moving parts that goes into a campaign. Transfers is just one part, registration is one part, on the ground campaigning is another part, and how you market yourself and how you bring yourself to the people and how you treat the people. There's all different moving parts that come together to win an election. So I don't really get into that part of things,
And this transfer period, like every other process, has been rocked by COVID-19.
Well, it's definitely an obstacle for everybody, right? Not for me personally, but we try to work around that. We try to work on their timing and their comfort in terms of not being in crowds, arranging schedules which will be suitable for them, because they have some people who believe that in the afternoon times or around this time you have more people, so they want to come 8 o'clock, so that us they want, so they don't have that contact. So all of these factors we have to put in place during this COVID time, and I see it getting no better leading up to the election either. So we just have to get used to the new normal, no?
Obviously, with COVID, it presents some unique challenges. Transfer periods are always hectic, but this just before an election and during a COVID crisis presents some unique challenges, and so we were forced to adapt. And so, for example, some of the things is that we have heightened safety measures. For example, as you know, there is always going to be the need to pick up people and drop off people. So whereas before you try to put in as many people in a vehicle as possible, during this time we have strict provisions that one, to get in the vehicle you must be wearing a mask. If a person is not wearing a mask, then we provide a mask. To get in the vehicle, we ensure that we sanitize their hands. And we ensure that once in the vehicle, there must be no more than 2 people in the box. So there must be social distancing as well. And once a person leaves the vehicle, then the vehicle is sanitized before and after a person gets into the vehicle. So obviously safety is the number one priority for us beyond anything else in trying to deal with the registrations and transfers during this COVID crisis.
Cherise Halsall, 7 News. Again, Monday, August 31st will be the last day of the transfer period. Cross-border bandits fired on police and BDF last night as they recovered a vehicle that had been stolen. Events started to unfold around 7:30 when 44-year-old Byron Manuel Guevara, a Guatemalan farmer from Bullet Tree, ran to the village police station. He told police that he and his family, including his wife and 3 kids aged 3 to 13, were in his 1985 Toyota pickup on the El Pilar Road when 3 men emerged from the bushes with their shirts tied over their faces. Each carried a firearm, and they forced the vehicle to stop. One of them demanded the farmer's money and the vehicle. Guevara scrambled his family out of the pickup and gave the bandits his wallet with $500 inside. The family then dashed into the bushes to hide as the men drove off in the pickup. Police have a number of active patrols in the area and were quick to respond. The Western Composite Patrol, which is police and BDF, heard a vehicle moving slowly down a back road in the area. They responded and found the vehicle bogged on an off-road that leads straight to El Toro, Guatemala. But the bandits opened fire on them using a shotgun and a handgun. The police and BDF returned fire, but the men escaped into the bushes. The team combed the area but didn't find them. But they did get back the pickup truck, which was returned to the owner. The press asked the police commissioner about the case today, and here's what he had to say.
Last night, the police responded to information of a robbery in the Pilar area. And based on that, the composite team, which is assigned to the west, went into the area with a view to see if they will be able to locate the robbers. From the information obtained from the complainant is that he was robbed of his vehicle by 3 individuals. When the police went into the area through a road that would lead to Guatemala, they saw the pickup truck belonging to the complainant going up a hill which would have taken them into Guatemala. And upon the police approaching, the individuals fired shots at the police and the police returned fire. They eventually abandoned the vehicle and they ran off into the bushes. Police remained and secured the area until assistance came in, after which the area was properly searched and the individuals were not found. The vehicle was recovered and is now with the police in San Ignacio.
Sir, is there a permanent police presence, law enforcement presence in that area?
We do have a composite team for the west, and yes, the main area of concentration for them is that Bullet Tree, Cala Creek Road.
This happened about half a mile from Cala Creek Village, which was the site of robbery earlier this year. Police suspect these may be the same bandits who had been active in and around Arenal in February and March. The press also asked the police commissioner about the 2 Guatemalan border jumpers, 42-year-old Alfred Colon and 38-year-old Junior Espinosa, who were both caught by the police on the waters of the Stan Creek district on Tuesday morning. As we told you, police officers from the Intermediate Southern Formation received information of vessels arriving within country with contraband goods. So, they went to the old forest dock near Mango Creek to intercept the boats. They moved just in time to catch the vessels as they arrived near the shore, and the cops ended up finding 2 cartons of Ultra cigarettes and several other loose food items that aren't sold in Belize. Shortly after the boats were intercepted, a local fisherman showed up at the dock and claimed that the vessels were his. Here's what the commissioner had to say about that case.
The 2 Guatemalans who were detained down south coming off a vessel?
Those individuals are in quarantine, and as soon as quarantine is over, then they'll be charged under the SI for illegally entering Belize.
And in this case, it is noteworthy that it was police and not Coast Guard, right?
Yes, it was police who intercepted them, yes.
So what happens with the man the Belizean who showed up claiming the boats as his?
He's also in quarantine.
Will he be charged?
We will have to look to see if there's anything to charge him, because we have to prove that he would have left the country and came back in.
But other charges like, okay, you facilitated the illegal departure of a vessel if he's claiming that it's his.
Yes, he could claim that it is his, but that does not mean that he would have facilitated the departure from the country.
The press also asked the Compol about the troubled days of Police Constable Reginald Diego. As we told you, Diego has been charged for extorting an American man for not wearing a mask. Shortly after getting bail for that charge on Wednesday, Diego was accused of going to People's Store in Orange Walk Town, where he allegedly shoplifted a Smirnoff and a Belikin beer. Here's what the commissioner had to say about that officer this evening.
The officer who is now slapped with an additional charge of theft, I think it was, or do you have details on that?
Yes, that is a matter again with Mr. Diego, who allegedly went to People's Store, I believe in Orange Walk, and helped himself with some alcohol without paying, and he was charged by the police for making off without payment.
So this officer seems troubled. Is the department doing anything to reach out to see what exactly is going on?
Well, he's on interdiction now. We're going to see how that progresses from there.
Diego has since been charged for making off without payment. Who came on the mystery plane out of St. Louis, Missouri, in the USA on July 10th? That passenger then went on to San Pedro for business. The press has been after this information for a month, but it's been closely guarded by the Civil Aviation Department. And it seems even the Prime Minister had to drill down to get the info. We wanted to ask him about it at last week's press conference, but we were shut down by the moderator after only 2 questions. Today, one of our colleagues did ask, and here's what the PM disclosed.
I have the name of the individual that came. I think the flight originated out of St. Louis. There is no question but that in terms of getting the clearance for the flight, Minister Heredia from San Pedro did assist. He makes no apologies about that, because the person who came is a significant investor in Amber Whiskey. He has a $20-odd million investment called Salt something. Again, it's a pity that you never asked last week when I had all the information to hand. But in any event, that's easily, I can send it to you afterwards, the name of the investment, the tourism investment that the individual has going on Amber Whiskey. And he also owns 2 additional premises. He's the owner of a penthouse, and he is the owner of a condo. His itinerary was such that he had come to check on the new investment that had been started, into which I'm told already $20 million have been poured, but he stayed at his condo, which is maybe a mile or so away from the site of the investment, the new investment. He limited himself to going back and forth between the 2 places, as far as we can tell, and after something like 10 days or so, he went back out of the country. There was no question of his circulating in the wider Amber Whiskey community, and based on the protocol that we had developed and about which we spoke in some detail last week, there was nothing wrong with that flight. There was no lapse of judgment, there was no omission, there was no violation of any of the rules. End of story.
The latest COVID numbers were also discussed at today's press conference. A record 333 samples were processed, and there were 52 positive cases coming out of that. So we now have a total of 870 cases, with 765 active cases. Dr. Russell Manzanero gave a breakdown of which communities those 52 positive cases are coming out of.
Cases, just a further breakdown for you. Yesterday in itself, we have 52 new cases. So I'll break it down by how they came in. For Corozal, we have 18 new cases. In Caledonia, 5. Libertad and Corozal Town, 2. Chanchen, 3. Shaibe, 3. And Chinook, 1. In Orange Walk District, we have 14. San Pablo and San Felipe, 3. San Jose and Trial Farm, 2. Yeo Creek, San Esteban, August Pine Ridge, and Orange Walk Town, 1. In the Belize District, Belize City, we have 5. We break it down. Biscayne, 4, and Keycocker, 1. For the Cayo District, Armenia, 3, Yalbak, 1, and in Belmopan, 1. I just also wanted to give a little bit information on the deaths. We do have 12 reported deaths, 4 in females and 8 in males. Basically what we're looking at the age group there is that from 25 to 34, we have 2 deaths. From 50 to 59, we have 4 deaths. 60, age group 60 to 64, 5 deaths, and 1 person over the age of 65.
You will notice that more males are dying than females. It's a 2-to-1 ratio. The recovery cases is also more females than males. And we almost have 100 more cases of SARS-CoV-2 in males than we do in females.
The CEO in the Ministry of Health also discussed the large number of infected amongst frontline workers and proposed new measures to protect them.
In terms of healthcare workers, I do think we need to make this situation clearly visible for everybody. Unfortunately, we have our epidemiologist from the Western Hill region has been intubated and is connected to a ventilator at Karl Huchner. That happened yesterday.
We basically are looking at the 28 healthcare workers now from the 26, and a total of 38, and also with law enforcement, we have 42. But I just want to emphasize that it's not the doctor, it's not the nurse. It is the lab technician, it's the pharmacist, it's the receptionist, it's the administrator, it's the lab technician, it's the public health inspector, it's the x-ray. Everybody is exposed. So everyone possible within that healthcare team has come up, has somebody represented them on a positive note. So we are very, very concerned, and obviously we are even looking at our protocols to say that maybe these people that are on the front line might need to wear an N95 mask, something that we know is much more expensive, but we are starting to learn and observe that these people are much closer to these clients than what we are presently, and maybe by not having an ordinary surgical mask and an N95 mask, they probably would be more protected.
Dr. Goff also discussed the availability of those masks and supplies in general.
When it comes to the PPE suits, the ones that you see in the full white, we presently enjoy an inventory of about 100,000 in country in our warehouses, and we have about 15,000 still coming from an IDB subsidy. Not to say that we are going to be issuing them recklessly or irresponsibly. When it comes to the gowns, for example, I'm glad to also to say that we have more than 34,000 of the blue ones, which are the sterile ones, and we have over 20,000 of the non-sterile ones, and we have a total about 75,000 still coming into the country. When it comes to the mask, like the one I'm wearing, we presently enjoy close to 1 million in the warehouse, and I have close to about 700,000 coming in the next few weeks. The N95, which are very demanded upon due to the contact tracers and the people doing the swabs, the healthcare workers in the ICUs, the workers in the operating rooms. Presently, we have a total of 11,000, and we are looking at close to about 100,000 coming in right now from the donors of IDB and the Taiwanese grant. Presently at the lab, the central lab, or PCR, not the rapid, the solid PCR testing that we are doing, we enjoy presently a stock to be able to do at least 26,000 tests in the country. That is a very comfortable point and position at this time if we are to change our protocols a bit slightly. With rapid antigen tests, we also had the foresight about a month ago to bring in 5,000 rapid antigen tests that we have quietly stored at our labs. We are presently procuring, as I speak, yesterday and Monday, another 10,000 that should be in country by later next week. That money has already been secured by the Ministry of Finance.
And the Prime Minister also announced that there is more relief for frontline workers because a long-delayed and much-discussed bonus is on the way.
The bonus package for the frontline workers in the Ministry of Health. This is a bonus package that we had promised some time ago. We're finally looking to get it together. The position is being sorted out between the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Finance.
And we take a break now. When we come back, we'll meet the contestants for the virtual Queen of the Bay pageant.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi. Contraband is the illegal importation of goods such as alcohol, tobacco, foods, and parts. Apart from breaking the law, smugglers are also now endangering the health of all Belizeans. They risk bringing coronavirus into Belize with their contraband. To keep COVID-19 out of Belize, everyone entering the country is screened and quarantined. But contraband smugglers are not using legal entry points and are bypassing all safety measures. And these same smugglers are moving among the population. They could be carrying the virus. By coming into the country illegally, they could cause outbreaks of COVID-19. Buying or smuggling contraband is putting yourself, your family, and the entire country at risk. Report smuggling. For SMART, call 0800-JUMPERS or 0800-BORDERS. For Digi, 0800-SAVE-BZE. This message is brought to you by the Belize Police Department and the Belize Bank.
When we started to build our house, we knew that we would have to enjoy living in it for the rest of our lives.
At Benny's, we found a large selection of exactly what we wanted.
Today our house is finished. The windows, doors, and door locks combine strength and quality to give our home a good feeling of security.
We're completely pleased with our kitchen, which features state-of-the-art Delta faucets and reliable GE appliances.
Our bath fixtures and accessories blends perfectly with the tiles that we picked.
We used warm paint colors that give a cozy effect, complementing our lights and fans.
From the grand entrance onto our beautifully tiled floors.
We are comfortable in our home, truly content with the knowledge that we did well shopping at Benny's.
Benny's and you, together we can make your dream house come true.
El contrabando es importar ilegalmente productos como el alcohol, tabaco, comida y objetos. Aparte de romper la ley, los contrabandistas están poniendo ahora en riesgo la salud de los beliceños. Ellos arriesgan traer coronavirus a Belice por medio de sus contrabandos. Para mantener el COVID-19 fuera de Belice, todos los que entren al país son examinados y encuarentenados. Sin embargo, los contrabandistas no utilizan los puntos de entrada legal y se saltan todas las medidas de seguridad. Estos mismos traficantes se están moviendo entre la población. Ellos podrían tener el virus. Al entrar ilícitamente al país, esto puede provocar un brote de COVID-19. Comprar o traficar contrabando te pone a ti, a tu familia y a todo tu país en riesgo. Para números de Smart, llama al 0800-586-7377, 0800-267-3377 y para Digi 0800-728-3293 para reportar cualquier actividad de contrabando. Este mensaje es presentado por el Departamento de Policía de Belice y el Banco de Belice.
Now is the time to sign up for the best postpaid plans in the country because Digi has doubled the data in all their plans. Now you can get even more done, connect even more, stream even more, create even more, and share even more. All on the fastest mobile network that gives you the most coverage nationwide. Now is the time to go postpaid with plans starting as low as $49 monthly. Shared plans are also available, all with unlimited talk and text. So don't wait. Hurry over to your nearest Digi store to sign up today. Enjoy double the data in all postpaid plans only with Digi.
The official hurricane season for the Atlantic Basin, the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf of Mexico is from June 1st to November 30th. If you are ordered not to evacuate, there are things you can do to get through the storm in the safest possible manner. Monitor the radio or TV for weather conditions. Stay indoors until the authorities declare the storm over. Even if the weather appears to have calmed, do not go outside. The calm eye of the storm can pass quickly, leaving you outside when strong winds resume. Stay away from all windows and exterior doors. Turn off power when there is standing water or fallen power lines. Prepare to evacuate to a shelter or to a neighbor's home if your home is damaged, or if you're instructed to do so by emergency personnel. Many hurricane-related injuries are cuts caused by flying glass and debris. Other injuries include bone fractures and puncture wounds from exposed nails, metal, or glass. Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company wants you and your family to be safe this hurricane season. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Brought to you by Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company and this station.
jumping is illegal and puts our entire nation at risk. Our neighbors, Guatemala and Mexico, are experiencing rapidly increasing numbers of COVID-19 cases, and there are more deaths every day. Persons entering Belize illegally from these hotspot countries are not being tested for COVID-19. That's why it is important to report anyone entering Belize illegally by calling our hotlines. Smart users call 0800-JUMPERS or 0800-BORDERS. For Digi, call 0800-SAVE-BZE. Condoning or engaging in border jumping is putting yourself, your family, and the entire country at risk. Remember, anyone caught will be fined up to $5,000 and or imprisoned for 2 years. Stop border jumping now. This message is brought to you by the Belize Police Department and the Belize Bank.
Saltar la frontera es ilegal y coloca a toda la nación en riesgo. Nuestros vecinos, Guatemala y México, han experimentado un rápido incremento de casos de contagio de COVID-19 y hay más muertes cada día. Personas entrando a Belice ilegalmente, viniendo de esos países con múltiples casos, no les están haciendo las pruebas de COVID-19. Es por eso que es importante reportar a cualquiera que entre ilegalmente a Belice llamando a nuestras líneas directas. Para Smart, marque 0800-586-7377, 0800-267-3377 y para Digi, marque 0800-728-3293. Tolerar o participar en entrar ilegalmente es ponerte a ti, a tu familia y a todo tu país en riesgo. Recuerda, cualquiera que sea arrestado deberá pagar una multa de hasta $5,000 y o prisión por 2 años. Detén el salto de fronteras hoy. Este mensaje es presentado por el Departamento de Policía de Belice y el Banco de Belice.
Because of the destructive power of a hurricane, you should never ignore an evacuation order. Authorities will most likely direct you to leave if you are in low-lying area or within the greatest potential path of the storm. If a hurricane warning is issued for your area, you are directed by authorities to evacuate. Take only essential items with you. Make sure you have an emergency kit in your car. If you have time, turn off the gas, electricity, and water. Unplug appliances to reduce the likelihood of electrical shock when power is restored. Follow the designated evacuation routes and expect heavy traffic. Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company wants you and your family to be safe this hurricane season. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Brought to you by Adzalat Audio and Video Production Company and this station.
Tomorrow is the 75th annual Queen of the Bay pageant, and this year, Belize's oldest pageant is going to be very different. That's because it's going virtual, streamed online, and voted on via Digicel texting votes. But while there won't be a roaring crowd, you can still expect all of the usual pomp and circumstance that makes the Queen of the Bay pageant the pageant of the September season. And this morning at the Biltmore, I got a chance to meet the 5 lovely delegates for a chat about their platforms and their path to the crown.
I believe that certain obstacles should not stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. I believe you must go for it no matter whatever comes in your way. Just be confident, be brave, and be bold. I believe that I hold all the characteristics of being a queen. I'm very outgoing, very friendly, very energetic, and outspoken, and I believe those are the qualities that the public is looking for, and I hold all of those. Thank God for technology, which has brought us not only together, but has also taught us different ways to, communicate and get all our stuff ready for this big day tomorrow.
Pageantry is something that I love from I was a little girl.
And when I got the opportunity to enter this pageant, I didn't know what to do. I was like amazed, shocked, and excited, because this is a big step for me in my life. No one in my family has ever joined a pageant, so this is the first time someone in my family actually step out of their own comfort zone to join something like this, so I want to do it for them. I was a shy person, and my first pageant was in Corozal, Queen of the Bay, and after that pageant, I am not shy anymore. I am very outspoken to people. I want to become a better public figure also.
The only way that we can overcome all of this and see through it is by being united. We need to be united because in this, and worse in this pandemic that we have right now, we need to work together. That is the only way that we can overcome it, by working together, because it doesn't depend on just me or just the people that I have at home. It depends on everyone else. If I take care of me, then I'm also taking care of you. I do like a challenge. I think that challenges put you on a road and make you a lot more stronger than if they just paved the road out for you. I think challenges make you a stronger person, and I believe that nothing can stop you from overcoming anything and becoming anything that you want in life. So this has been a huge challenge for me and all the delegates, and I think that we're gonna come out much stronger women after this.
Well, my mother was Queen of the Bay 1997, 1998. So I always wanted to be a part of the pageant, and some people who are member of the committee knew that I always wanted to be a part, so they said, okay, this is an opportunity for you if you want to be a part of the pageant, so you can go up for it. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to own my own restaurant, my own resort, and I also want to be a statistician. I am already a queen, so going up there and knowing that I am already a queen, it's quite easy to putting my all, believing that I have what it takes to become Queen of the Bay 2020.
I'm honored to be a part of this pageant. I've always wanted to be a part of the country's history, and also I will bring the crown home after 6 years. I'm also advocating for women empowerment, highlighting the need for women to be more involved in the country. This is the 75th annual pageant in an unbroken line, and even through a tough time like this pandemic, we are still maintaining to have the pageant. So it shows integrity and strength. This pageant will survive anything.
The 75th annual Queen of the Bay pageant will be aired live and streamed online on August 29th. So far in the news tonight, you've heard a whole lot about the airport, rapid testing, and other COVID news. But what thousands of unemployed people out there want to know is, when is the second tranche of the COVID unemployment relief coming through? It's $150, which may not be a whole lot, but for those who have lost their jobs and have no income, it is plenty. And while the relief program was announced weeks ago, for most, the money can't reach yet. The Prime Minister apologized today.
There has been a little bit of a lag, and I apologize to people for that. I want to express my sincere regret. People, you're right, are absolutely desperate, and it is our duty to get relief to them as quickly as possible. But it's starting to happen now, and it will happen in a way that will absolutely outdo what was taking place under phase one.
A part of the holdup is that the Minister of Labour is now handling the disbursements. It is no longer going through Social Security. The Minister of Labour told us that people are already being paid. Slowly so far, but it has started and it will go faster next week. Today, San Pedro residents hailed a virtual protest using their Facebook feeds to demand that they come out of lockdown. They jammed the comments section of the stream of the PM's press conference, saying they are San Pedro strong. Now, the island still has a high number of active infections, but the PM says they won't be locked down much longer.
I would want to believe that Ambergris Caye is plateauing, and so I certainly expect that we may be able to lift the quarantine even before it expires. And remember that it's coming to an end in any event. When we went to the House, all we did was to have an extension for 2 weeks. So in my mind, there is very little likelihood, it's next to impossible, that we would be faced with a situation where by the time we open the PGIA on October 1st, San Pedro would be under any form of quarantine.
The Prime Minister also discussed the high contraction in the GDP in the second quarter. It was 23%. The PM said he thought it would be more.
I think we were expecting it to be worse. And I'm not quite sure what's responsible for the little bit of a bump, if you can call it that, that we got. A number of people will tell you the closing of the borders, whatever money there is in this country is circulating in the country. Nobody can go to Chetumal, apart from those involved in the illegal trade. Nobody can go to Guatemala, and so all our dollars are being spent here at home. But I wouldn't want to lay claim to some kind of effort that's proven to be very, very successful on the part of government. It's almost happened in terms of happenstance. It's almost occurred by way of happenstance. I think we must give tribute, if not to government, certainly to the Belizean public.
And the Prime Minister's press conference today ran for 2 hours and 33 minutes. It covered a broad range of subjects, including the saga of the Big Creek tug, of which 5 crew members came back COVID positive from Honduras. Here's the report.
We found out that 5 of the crew members that should have remained on the tugboat and waited for their test results had somehow been sent home or left to go home. I have to be careful with my words. I would want to say that they went home for a few hours until my counterparts, my colleagues, the doctor, the administrator, was alerted because one of the 5 resulted in being ill. So the employer was notified, the other 4 members were brought to the clinic, did an exam, and we returned them back to their quarantine. And the member that was ill, we brought him into our clinic, and that very night he complicated and we took him down to Dangriga. And I'm not sure if he continued on to Belize. As you know, the 5 members resulted being positive. With that, well, obviously we had to go back into the 5 families, and I'm sure some contact tracing was done and some testing. And I think we managed to avert something that could have been, well, catastrophic, 5 positive members in a community in 5 different families.
Reports say a staffer at the polyclinic in that village has also tested positive. And that's all we have for you on 7 News tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Cherise Halsall. You can see a stream of the news at 7newsbelize.com and on our Facebook page. Remember that curfew starts at 9 tonight, everywhere except San Pedro, where it starts at 8. We also remind you to wash your hands, keep social distance of 6 feet, wear a mask, and stay home if possible. The virus doesn't move unless you stay safe, and join Indira Craig back here on Monday. Good night and have a great weekend.